You've probably seen this before. Chances are it popped up on your feed at least once or twice while scrolling through social media. This is Ikigai. It's usually translated as raison d'être, reason for being, or what makes life worth living. It's a little Venn diagram, often passed around as if it were an ancient wisdom, but it's not. This version claims that Ikigai is the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. I did the upside down. And honestly, trying to find out something that sits here in the middle of all of this can be a great exercise. It might help shifting your perspective on life, make you reevaluate your choices, or even attract people that are more aligned with you. It may even change your life, sure. But here's the thing, this is not Ikigai. Well, it's inspired to Ikigai, yes, but it is also the product of a more productivity-driven worldview with a big focus on money, career, and output. I played around with this diagram myself, and I admit I was thinking something else. It's like, what job I can do for the next decades that will give me meaning of life and won't burn me out again? What will this magical diagram reveal to me? But in the end, it all boiled down to anxiety and work. How to get paid, how to pay bills, how to survive without losing my mental health again. And I get it, but that's not the really heart of Ikigai. And you can feel it right the second you dig a little bit deeper. So let's go back where all began. Once upon a time, there was a Japanese psychologist and psychiatrist called Miyeko Kamiya, who in the 60s published a book called Ikigai ni tsuite. That means about Ikigai. Kamiya spent years working with people suffering from the Hansen's disease, also known as leprosis. And she notices something powerful, a settling spark that shines in some of her patients, despite isolation, illness, and suffering. Some of them don't give up. They find joy, motivation, and even purpose in the smallest things. Others sadly give up completely. And Kamiya wrote by this. I read it. All human beings are supported by a more or less vague sense of purpose. It's a sense of responsibility for what you are living for, and it's close to what you have to do in life. Those that don't discover a sense of purpose or their mission will suffer an unfulfilling existence, while those that do will experience a strong Ikigai awareness. In her book, Kamiya asserted that for an individual to experience Ikigai the feeling of Ikigai, 7 types of personal needs have to be satisfied. These 7 needs are, and I'll put it on screen or probably in a file in the description if you want to play around with it. So they are: the need for life satisfaction, the need for change and growth, the need for a bright future, the need for resonance, the need for freedom, the need for self-actualization, and the need for meaning and value. That idea that we are all sustained by something, even if we don't always know what it is, that's Ikigai. It's not some grand strategy, it's not some grand business strategy or a perfect design career path. It's something more softer, more subtle, and deeply personal. Like many Japanese concepts, it's contextual, fluid, and hard to define according to our Western view. In Kamiya's original writings, Ikigai wasn't about success, income, or a miserable growth. It was something vague and spontaneous, something that arises naturally, not tied to a material something. So maybe the real question is, what makes you feel glad to be alive? What gives your life a quiet sense of meaning, even if it doesn't make sense to others? Because Ikigai isn't about happiness, it's more about wholeness, a feeling of being complete. But again, it's not always clear. It's not plug and play, it's deeply individual, and in my opinion, that makes it very hard to achieve because we are always searching for, myself included, for external positive feedbacks about what we are doing and how we feel. But Ikigai depends more on how you see the world than what your job is, where you live, or what you own. It's more about your mindset and your inner compass. We are almost there, I promise. Now, a different Japanese author, Mogi, Mogi tried to sum up the Ikigai with 5 pillars to simplify a little bit more the Kamiya's work. And even Mogi admit that those 5 pillars aren't a full definition of Ikigai. They are just an entry point. Here is what it offers. So it's starting small, releasing yourself, that is probably the hardest part in every mental health journey, harmony and sustainability, the joy over the little thing, and being in the here and now, that is basically mindfulness. Pretty different from the beginning, huh? It's more gentle, more Japanese. So let me ask this. Is there something, even something tiny, that makes you feel like today was worth showing up for? Think about it, write it down, or don't, but hold on to it. Thank you for sticking around. I'll see you in the next video coming in September. Ciao.